Most discipline systems are loud. They shout motivation. They demand intensity. They burn bright and then collapse. Musashi's discipline was silent. No speeches. No self-talk. No emotional reinforcement. And that silence is what made it permanent. Weakness does not die when you fight it. It dies when it is no longer acknowledged. Musashi did not argue with weakness. He did not resist it. He did not try to overpower it. He ignored it until it starved. This is the discipline most people never see, because it produces no drama, no visible struggle, no moment of triumph, only quiet consistency. While others relied on motivation, Musashi relied on inevitability. While others reacted to emotion, Musashi removed emotion from the system entirely. And over time, something irreversible happened. Weakness stopped speaking, not because it was defeated, but because there was no longer anyone listening. This video is not about pushing harder. It is about removing the inner audience that weakness performs for. Once that audience is gone, weakness has no stage. And when weakness has no stage, it disappears forever. Chapter 1. Silence as discipline. Discipline is usually taught as noise. Commands shouted at the mind. Motivation screamed into the nervous system. Mantras repeated until emotion rises just enough to act. Miyamoto Musashi rejected all of it. His discipline did not speak. It did not encourage. It did not persuade. It did not explain itself. It simply operated. This is the first misunderstanding most people carry about discipline. They believe weakness must be confronted. Musashi understood something colder. Weakness does not need confrontation. It needs oxygen. And the fastest way to kill it is silence. Weakness survives through attention, through inner dialogue, through justification and explanation. Every time you negotiate with it, you feed it. Every time you argue with it, you validate it. Every time you name it, you give it identity. Musashi removed the conversation entirely. When the body was meant to move, it moved. When training was scheduled, it happened. When fatigue appeared, it was noted, but not addressed. There was no internal discussion. This silence was not passive. It was engineered. Musashi designed his life so that discipline did not require narration. No internal monologue saying, "I should do this." No reflection asking, "Do I feel like it today?" No commentary evaluating effort or progress. Commentary creates distance between action and execution. Distance is where weakness grows. Modern minds are loud, constantly interpreting experience, labeling discomfort, assigning meaning. Musashi lived below that layer. He acted before language arrived. This is why his discipline endured while others broke. Most people try to silence weakness after it appears. Musashi prevented it from appearing at all. He did not ask how he felt. He did not ask whether it was worth it. He did not ask if conditions were ideal. Those questions belong to a different operating system. Musashi ran on inevitability. When action is inevitable, silence follows naturally. There is nothing to discuss. This silence produced a terrifying effect. Without inner resistance, effort dropped. Without narration, pain shortened. Without emotional amplification, fatigue lost its authority. What remained was pure execution. Musashi understood that suffering is not created by pain alone. It is created by interpretation. Pain plus commentary becomes suffering. Pain without commentary becomes information. Silence turns pain into data. This is why Musashi could endure without becoming bitter. Why repetition did not erode him. Why solitude sharpened rather than weakened him. There was no story running in his head about sacrifice. Sacrifice requires an observer. Musashi removed the observer. This is where weakness usually hides. In the part of you that watches yourself struggle. That part wants recognition, validation, relief. Musashi denied it all three. He did not treat discipline as self-improvement. He treated it as self-erasure. Not erasure of identity, but erasure of commentary. When the commentary stops, weakness loses its voice. This is why his discipline felt silent even to others. No display, no announcement, no visible intensity, only consistent behavior, repeated until it hardened into nature. Most people misunderstand this and assume he was emotionally numb. He was not. He simply refused to let emotion sit in the command seat. Emotion existed, but it did not steer. This distinction matters. Suppressing emotion creates tension. Ignoring emotion creates silence. Musashi ignored. When doubt appeared, it was not argued with. When fear arose, it was not analyzed. When boredom arrived, it was not negotiated. They were observed briefly, then bypassed. Action continued uninterrupted. This is the first pillar of his silent discipline. No internal conversation, not because thoughts disappear, but because they are rendered irrelevant. This is deeply uncomfortable for modern minds. We are trained to process everything, to reflect constantly, to understand ourselves before acting. Musashi reversed the order. He acted first. Understanding followed or never arrived. And he did not care. Understanding is optional. Execution is not. Silence makes execution fast. Fast execution prevents weakness from organizing. Weakness needs time. Time to speak. Time to convince. Musashi allowed it none. This is why his discipline broke weakness permanently. Not by overpowering it, but by never letting it finish a sentence. In the next chapter, we will go deeper. From silence to structure. Because silence alone is fragile. Structure makes it permanent. Chapter 2. Structure without mercy. Silence alone is not enough. Silence removes noise, but without structure, silence eventually collapses. The mind will fill empty space if the body is not already moving. Miyamoto Musashi understood this. That is why his silence was not freedom. It was confinement. Modern people seek discipline as flexibility. Musashi built discipline as a cage. A cage has no opinions, no moods, no alternatives. Once you are inside, behavior is decided. This is where Musashi separated himself from ordinary warriors. Others trained when conditions were favorable. Musashi trained because the structure demanded it. Time did not negotiate. Weather did not negotiate. Fatigue did not negotiate. Structure removed negotiation entirely. This is the second pillar of his discipline. Life organized so choice disappears. Choice is where weakness hides. Every time you choose, you evaluate. Every time you evaluate, you hesitate. Every time you hesitate, the mind looks for comfort. Musashi eliminated choice by predeciding everything that mattered. Training hours were fixed. Practice methods were fixed. Living conditions were intentionally minimal. Not because he enjoyed hardship, but because comfort creates options. Options create exits. Musashi closed exits. He lived in sparse dwellings, wore simple clothing, ate without indulgence. This was not asceticism for spirituality. It was operational discipline. If your life contains very little can distract you. If your day contains fixed demands, your mind cannot bargain. Structure is merciless because it does not respond to emotion. You wake up tired. The structure remains. You feel uninspired. The structure remains. You doubt your progress. The structure remains. This is why structure feels oppressive to undisciplined minds. It does not care how you feel. Musashi wanted it that way. He knew that the self you feel today is unreliable. But structure is consistent. Consistency outlives willpower. This is why motivation never mattered to him. Motivation is emotional fuel. Structure is mechanical force. Emotions fluctuate. Mechanisms repeat. Musashi trained like a machine long before machines existed. But not blindly. His structure was simple, not complex. Few techniques. Few movements. Few principles. Repeated endlessly. Complex systems give the mind room to hide. Simple systems expose weakness immediately. When there are only a few actions, You cannot escape into novelty. Most people avoid repetition because repetition reveals them. Musashi embraced it. Repetition without variation does something brutal. It strips away illusion. You cannot pretend you are improving if the same action exposes the same flaw. There is no excitement to distract you, no variety to mask inconsistency. Only the truth, repeated daily. This is why Musashi's structure was psychologically violent. It forced him to face himself without entertainment. Modern discipline often fails because it tries to be enjoyable. Musashi did not design enjoyment. He designed inevitability. His days flowed like a narrow corridor. Forward was the only direction. This also explains his isolation. People disrupt structure. They introduce opinions, suggestions, alternatives. Musashi limited his exposure to them, not out of arrogance, out of necessity. Discipline is fragile in crowds. One doubt spoken aloud can fracture weeks of structure. Musashi guarded his environment carefully. Where he lived, who he listened to, what he allowed into his mind. This was not paranoia. It was precision. Structure extends beyond schedule. It includes environment. A chaotic environment breeds a chaotic mind. A simple environment enforces clarity. Musashi made his life narrow on purpose. Narrow paths are harder to leave. This is why his discipline did not erode over time. There was nothing to negotiate with. No internal voice saying, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow was already claimed. This terrifies modern people. They hear structure and imagine imprisonment. Musashi saw freedom differently. Freedom is not the ability to choose anything. Freedom is the removal of internal conflict. Structure ended conflict. When the day tells you what to do, the mind rests. No arguing, no bargaining, no guilt, just execution. This is the hidden mercy of merciless structure. It saves you from yourself. In the next chapter, we will examine the most misunderstood part of Musashi's discipline, why he trained the body before the mind, and how physical action was used to override hesitation at the deepest level. Chapter 3. The body moves first. Most people believe discipline is a mental act. They think strength begins in the mind, that if they can think correctly, feel motivated, or understand enough, action will follow. Musashi believed the opposite. The mind is slow. The body is fast. The mind negotiates. The body executes. So Musashi trained the body to move before the mind could interfere. This is one of the most dangerous ideas in his system, because it removes the last place weakness can hide. Hesitation does not begin in the muscles. It begins in thought. If the body is already moving, thought arrives too late to stop it. Musashi designed his discipline around this principle. He did not ask himself how he felt before training. He did not analyze readiness. He did not wait for clarity. He stood up. He moved. He began. The act itself silenced doubt. This is why he emphasized physical repetition above intellectual study. Technique was not something to be understood. It was something to be embedded. Repetition drove action below conscious thought. When something lives below thought, it cannot be debated. Most people lose discipline because they give the mind too much authority. They wake up and ask, "Do I feel like it today?" Musashi never asked. The body rose at the same time. The practice began the same way. The sword moved through the same arc. No internal conversation was required. This is not mindlessness. It is strategic bypass. The mind is excellent at strategy. It is terrible at obedience. Musashi used the mind to design the system, then removed it from daily execution. Once the system was built, the body followed it automatically. This is why his training appeared inhuman. Observers saw effortlessness. They mistook it for talent. It was conditioning. Musashi drilled movements until they no longer felt like choices. He practiced when exhausted, when bored, when uninspired, not to build toughness, but to remove reliance on feeling. Feeling is unstable ground. The body does not care how you feel. It responds to patterns. Musashi carved patterns into his nervous system. This is why he could act decisively in combat. There was no pause for courage. The body already knew. This principle extended beyond swordsmanship. He walked with awareness. He sat with intention. He ate without distraction. Every physical act was deliberate, not tense. Deliberate. This trained his nervous system to remain calm under pressure. Calm is not a mental trick. It is a physical state. Musashi understood this long before modern science. Slow, controlled movements trained stillness. Stillness trained clarity. When the body is stable, the mind follows. This reverses the modern approach. Today, people chase calm through thought. Musashi built it through posture, breath, and repetition. He trusted the body more than emotion. Emotion lies. The body tells the truth. If your hands shake, you are not calm. If your breath is shallow, you are not ready. Musashi corrected the body first. The mind adjusted on its own. This is why his discipline worked under extreme pressure. When life compressed into a single moment, there was no time to think. Only trained movement remained. Most people fall apart under pressure because their discipline lives in thought. Thought collapses when stakes rise. Musashi's discipline lived in reflex. Reflex does not panic. This is why he warned against excessive theorizing. Understanding does not create readiness. Action does. He did not reject learning. He rejected dependency on it. Knowledge was useless unless it changed the body. This is why Musashi trained alone, without audience, without validation. Validation strengthens ego, not reflex. Ego demands recognition. Reflex demands repetition. Musashi chose reflex. He reduced life to a series of physical commitments. When the body moved, the mind followed. When the body stayed disciplined, the mind became quiet. This is the discipline that works when motivation dies, because it never depended on motivation in the first place. In the next chapter, we will explore the harshest part of Musashi's system, why he used monotony to destroy ego, and how boredom became one of his most powerful weapons. Chapter 4. Monotony as a Weapon. Most people think discipline fails because it is too hard. Musashi knew the truth. Discipline fails because it becomes boring. Pain can be tolerated. Difficulty can be endured. But monotony attacks the ego directly. This is why most men quit. Not when things hurt, but when nothing changes. Musashi understood this weakness deeply, and he turned it into a weapon. He designed his discipline to be deliberately monotonous. Same movements, same hours, same routines, day after day. No variation, no novelty, no reward. At first glance, this seems inefficient. But Musashi was not training skill alone. He was training obedience without stimulation. The ego craves progress markers. It wants visible improvement, praise, new techniques, a sense of advancement. Monotony denies all of that. And when the ego is denied, it starts to complain. This is pointless. I already know this. I'm not improving. These thoughts are not insight. They are withdrawal symptoms. The ego is addicted to stimulation. Musashi used monotony to break that addiction. He repeated basic cuts long after they were mastered, not to improve technique, but to erase pride. When a movement feels beneath you, that is exactly where discipline must live. Musashi believed that the moment you feel above repetition, you are already weakening. Repetition without variation forces humility. It removes the illusion of mastery. You are never finished. You simply return to the beginning again. This creates something modern training systems lack: depth instead of breadth. Most people chase new methods because they confuse novelty with growth. Musashi went deeper into fewer things. Depth creates stability. Stability creates power. Monotony also eliminates emotional dependency. When training feels exciting, people rely on excitement to continue. When excitement fades, discipline collapses. Musashi trained when nothing was felt. No excitement, No resistance. No enthusiasm. Just action. This builds what he valued most: consistency under emptiness. Life is not always dramatic. Most days are repetitive. Musashi trained for the reality of life, not the highlight reel. This is why his discipline endured. He made peace with boredom. More than that, he used it. Boredom revealed weakness faster than hardship. Hardship rallies pride. Boredom strips it. When nothing is stimulating, only true commitment remains. Musashi observed that men who loved hardship often failed in silence. They could endure pain in battle, but collapsed in routine. So he trained the opposite: silent, dull repetition. This created mind that did not require emotional fuel. Action continued even when nothing pushed it forward. This is terrifying discipline, because there is no escape through emotion. No adrenaline, no anger, no inspiration, just obedience. This is why Musashi warned against variety too early. Variety hides flaws. Monotony exposes them. When the same action is repeated thousands of times, every weakness becomes visible. Impatience, laziness, carelessness. Monotony is a mirror. Most people look away. Musashi stared. This also trained endurance of time itself. Many men can focus intensely for short periods. Very few can remain disciplined across months of sameness. Musashi trained for years. No timeline, no finish line. The work itself became the point. This dissolves anxiety. When there is no expectation of completion, there is no pressure, only presence. This is why Musashi appeared calm even when facing death. He had already mastered staying in place, staying in repetition, staying in silence. Boredom did not threaten him. It strengthened him. In modern life, monotony is avoided at all costs. We fill silence with noise. We escape repetition through distraction. Musashi would see this as weakness, not moral weakness, structural weakness. A nervous system unable to stay with simplicity. His discipline hardened the nervous system. It made sameness tolerable, then comfortable, then powerful. Because once monotony no longer bothers you, nothing can manipulate you. You are no longer dependent on stimulation. You can act without reward. This is freedom, and it is earned through repetition without variation. In the next chapter, we will examine another brutal principle of Musashi's discipline: pain as information, and why he never treated discomfort as a signal to stop, only to observe. Chapter 5. Pain as information. Most men treat pain as an enemy. Musashi treated it as a message, not something to avoid, not something to glorify, but something to read. This distinction is critical. Pain in Musashi's system was never emotional. It was informational. When the body hurt, he did not ask, "How do I make this stop?" He asked, "What is this teaching me?" Modern minds collapse under discomfort because they attach meaning to it. Pain becomes failure. Pain becomes danger. Pain becomes proof that something is wrong. Musashi stripped pain of drama. He observed it like weather. This changed everything. When pain loses emotional weight, it stops controlling behavior. Most people quit not because pain is unbearable, but because they panic about what pain means. Musashi trained himself to stay present inside discomfort. He noticed where it appeared, how it changed, what caused it. This created precision. Pain became a diagnostic tool. If a stance caused strain, it revealed imbalance. If fatigue appeared early, it exposed inefficiency. If the mind resisted repetition, it exposed ego. Every sensation had data. Nothing was wasted. Musashi believed pain revealed truth faster than comfort. Comfort hides flaws. Pain exposes them immediately. This is why he did not chase ease. He chased clarity, and clarity often hurts. But he never confused pain with progress. This is important. Musashi did not believe suffering automatically created strength. He believed awareness created strength. Pain without observation is just damage. Pain with attention becomes instruction. This is why he survived where others broke. He did not push blindly. He adjusted. Pain told him when to correct posture, timing, breathing. It also taught him limits, not as walls, but as edges. Musashi walked the edge deliberately. He stayed close to discomfort without crossing into injury. This required self-control, not aggression. Modern culture often celebrates pushing through pain. Musashi saw that as foolish. Pain was not something to conquer. It was something to understand. This mindset also eliminated fear. When pain is familiar, it stops being threatening. The unknown terrifies. The known instructs. Musashi spent so much time inside discomfort that it lost its power. This gave him calm under pressure. In battle, pain did not shock him. It did not hijack his focus. He had already trained his nervous system to stay functional under strain. This is one of the most overlooked aspects of his discipline. He trained continuity under discomfort, the ability to continue thinking while the body protested. This is rare. Most men fragment under pain. They lose coordination. They lose judgment. They lose timing. Musashi did not. Pain sharpened him because he listened instead of reacting. This also applied to mental pain, doubt, frustration, fatigue of the mind. He did not suppress these states. He observed them. Mental discomfort was treated the same as physical discomfort. Information. If doubt appeared, it pointed to uncertainty in preparation. If frustration appeared, it revealed attachment to outcome. If boredom caused agitation, it exposed dependence on stimulation. Everything became feedback. Nothing was personal. This created emotional immunity, not numbness. Precision. Musashi did not harden himself by denial. He hardened himself through awareness. Pain became neutral, just another signal. This neutrality is terrifying to opponents. A man who is not moved by discomfort cannot be intimidated. This is why Musashi emphasized restraint. Pain was allowed. Reaction was controlled. In modern life, this principle is revolutionary. Most people live in avoidance. Avoid discomfort. Avoid strain. Avoid emotional friction. This creates fragility. Musashi built resilience by removing avoidance. Not through masochism, through attention. He allowed discomfort to exist without escape. This rewired his relationship with effort. Effort was no longer associated with threat. It was associated with information. This is why his discipline endured over decades. It did not burn him out. It refined him. The difference matters. Burnout comes from fighting pain. Endurance comes from listening to it. Musashi never trained to suffer. He trained to understand. And understanding gave him control. In the next chapter, we will examine one of the most unsettling aspects of Musashi's system, control over force. Why true power, in his philosophy, included the ability to stop instantly, and why restraint was the final proof of mastery. Chapter 6. Control over force. Most men believe power is the ability to strike. Musashi believed power was the ability not to. This distinction separated him from warriors who burned out, lost judgment, or died young. Force without control is noise. Control without force is weakness. Musashi demanded both, but mastery belonged to restraint. He trained not only to move decisively, but to stop instantly, mid-strike, mid-step, mid-intention. This was not philosophical. It was tactical. A man who cannot stop himself is predictable. A man who can halt his force at any moment is unreadable. Musashi understood that uncontrolled aggression narrows perception. When force takes over, awareness collapses. You see less. You hear less. You think slower. This is why rage fails under pressure. Musashi refused it. His discipline was designed to preserve clarity at maximum intensity. This required deliberate training. He practiced movements slowly, deliberately, with full awareness. Speed was added only after control was absolute. This is opposite of how most men train. They chase intensity first. Control comes later, if at all. Musashi reversed the order. Control first, force second. This created authority over his own body. Every motion had a break. This break was trained, not hoped for. He could strike without overcommitting, advance without losing balance, withdraw without hesitation. This made him lethal, not because he was fast, but because he was precise. Precision survives chaos. Force alone collapses under it. Musashi also applied this rule to emotion. Anger was force. Fear was force. Ego was force. Uncontrolled emotion moves the body before the mind is ready. Musashi disciplined his internal reactions the same way he disciplined his sword. He noticed impulses without obeying them. This created a pause. In that pause lived choice. Most men act without this pause. They confuse impulse with truth. Musashi treated impulse as raw energy, useful only when directed. This allowed him to weaponize calm. Calm is not passive. Calm is stored force. This is why witnesses described him as terrifyingly still. Stillness was not emptiness. It was readiness. The ability to act without needing to act. This is rare. It also made him impossible to bait. Taunts failed. Pressure failed. Threats failed. Nothing could rush him. This psychological advantage often decided outcomes before blades met. Musashi's opponents spent energy trying to provoke him. He conserved. They burned fuel. He waited. Control over force also meant knowing when not to escalate. Musashi avoided unnecessary battles. Not out of fear, but efficiency. Every fight carried risk. He did not waste risk. This is another misunderstood part of his discipline. Restraint was not weakness. It was strategic intelligence. The ability to walk away when the outcome offered no gain. Modern culture glorifies constant assertion. Musashi valued selectivity. He chose when to unleash force. This made his force devastating. Because it was rare. Because it was deliberate. Because it was total. He did not live in aggression. He lived in readiness. This distinction matters. Aggression drains. Readiness preserves. Musashi preserved himself across decades of conflict. This required ego suppression. The ego wants to prove. Musashi wanted to survive and dominate when necessary. Control over force also extended to ambition. He did not chase titles. He did not seek validation. Desire itself was restrained. Unchecked ambition scatters focus. Musashi narrowed his. Everything fed mastery. Nothing leaked energy. This is why his discipline feels cold. It is. Cold clarity outperforms hot emotion. Musashi accepted this cost. He sacrificed comfort for command. The modern mind resists this. It wants expression. Musashi wanted precision. Expression is uncontrolled force. Precision is directed power. He chose precision, and that choice defined him. In the next chapter, we will confront the final and most difficult element of Musashi's discipline, the elimination of retreat. Why removing escape routes created unbreakable commitment, and why once a path was chosen, there was no return. Chapter 7, No Retreat. Musashi's final discipline was the most severe. Once a path was chosen, retreat was erased. Not emotionally, not symbolically, practically. This is the rule that breaks most men, because it removes comfort, because it removes negotiation, because it removes the illusion of safety. Musashi understood something few are willing to face. As long as escape exists, commitment is incomplete. The mind holds back. The body hesitates. Effort remains partial. Retreat poisons resolve before failure ever appears. Musashi did not motivate himself to persist. He removed the option to quit. This is not bravado. It is structural discipline. When Musashi entered training, he did not try. He committed. The decision was final before the first movement. This changed everything. There was no internal debate mid-effort. No bargaining with fatigue. No emotional recalculation. The mind knew the outcome was already chosen. Only execution remained. Most men reverse this order. They begin without commitment. They leave exits open. They hope willpower will carry them through. It never does. Musashi designed his life to eliminate hope-based effort. Hope fluctuates. Structure endures. This is why his discipline feels brutal. Because it demands honesty before action. Once you commit, you live with the consequences. Musashi accepted this burden willingly. He preferred severity over ambiguity. Ambiguity breeds weakness. Certainty breeds alignment. When the mind knows retreat is impossible, it stops conserving energy. It stops holding back. It stops preparing excuses. It moves fully into the task. This is where transformation occurs. Not through intensity, through inevitability. Musashi did not rely on emotional peaks. He relied on irreversible decisions. This made his discipline self-sustaining. No energy was wasted debating. No momentum was lost to doubt. Each action reinforced the next. This is the difference between discipline as effort and discipline as identity. Musashi did not do discipline. He became it. Retreat also corrupts learning. When quitting is possible, practice becomes cautious. Errors are avoided instead of studied. Musashi eliminated this distortion. Failure was not a signal to stop. It was information, because stopping was never an option. This allowed him to train past embarrassment, past frustration, past fear. These barriers destroy most men. Musashi passed through them because retreat was unavailable. His environment reinforced this rule. Isolation, minimal possessions, austere living. Comfort was not accessible. This was not asceticism for its own sake. It was strategic. Comfort creates alternatives. Alternatives weaken resolve. Musashi closed those doors deliberately. Modern men attempt discipline while surrounded by exits. Entertainment, distraction, endless fallback plans. They wonder why they cannot sustain effort. Musashi would find this obvious. A man surrounded by exits will always choose the easiest one under pressure. Musashi removed ease. This forced growth. He did not wait to feel ready. Readiness emerges after commitment, not before it. This is the final inversion. Most men seek certainty before acting. Musashi acted to create certainty. Once committed, he trusted adaptation. He adjusted tactics, not direction. Direction was fixed. This prevented paralysis. This prevented self-betrayal. Each day reinforced the same identity. I do not turn back. This identity hardened over time. Discipline stopped being painful. Pain was already accounted for. This is the paradox. When retreat is removed, suffering loses power. It is no longer a threat. It is part of the terrain. Musashi did not romanticize hardship. He accepted it as cost. And because the cost was expected, it did not shock him. Most men quit because pain surprises them. Musashi was never surprised. His discipline prepared him. This is why his system still works. Because it is not motivational. It is architectural. It redesigns decision-making itself. Once the structure is built, behavior follows. Effort becomes automatic. Resistance fades. Not because it disappears, but because it no longer matters. Musashi did not defeat weakness by fighting it. He made weakness irrelevant. There was no choice left for it to exploit. This is the end of discipline. Not endless struggle, but the removal of alternatives. When quitting is impossible, discipline is no longer heroic. It is simply what happens. This is the state Musashi lived in. Cold, clear, unavoidable. And once reached, it cannot be undone. There is no return, only continuation. This is Musashi's silent discipline, and it breaks weakness forever. Miyamoto Musashi did not become unbreakable through inspiration. He became unbreakable by removing choice. This is the truth that makes his discipline frightening, because it does not ask how you feel. It does not wait for confidence. It does not negotiate with fear. Once the structure is set, action happens, whether you want it to or not. This is why Musashi's system still works. It does not rely on motivation, which fades. It relies on identity, which endures. Most men spend their lives trying to feel disciplined. Musashi built a life where discipline was unavoidable. No excess, no escape, no retreat. What remains when choice is gone is clarity. What remains when comfort is removed is capability. What remains when excuses disappear is strength. This is not a path for everyone. It requires honesty most men avoid. It demands you close doors you secretly want open. But if you do, something changes. Effort stops feeling heroic. Resistance loses its voice. Action becomes quiet, heavy, inevitable. You stop asking whether you should continue. You simply continue. That is Musashi's final lesson. Discipline is not something you summon. It is something you design. If this system challenged you, it was meant to. If it disturbed you, it exposed a door you have not closed yet. And if you are ready to close it, subscribe for more breakdowns of ancient discipline systems, warrior psychology, and the methods that build strength without motivation. Leave a like if this altered how you see self-control. And comment below the one escape route you know you need to remove. Because once the door is closed, there is no turning back, only forward.